Okay, as we are preparing our live for the mystical spot with Kristel, today I have a guest speaker, and just want to make sure we are good. All right, so we are live on this wonderful Thursday. Coffee was earlier, so I do not have a coffee talk right now with the coffee in my hands. However, I am super excited to have today my guest speaker, Celia, who, oh my gosh, how long have we known each other? I would say almost close to over a year, 20 years. We started in the mortgage industry together, and that's how we met. I started in the industry. She joined the industry and we were training together, working together. It's been so long that all I know is that we worked together as processors. And then our life took parts as far as location, jobs, the same company, all those amazing things of careers. But then we also became close friends. She even hosted me while I was going through my divorce in her home for a few months during that transition. Actually, it was separation. Did I even divorce at that time? No. So she was really a pillar to help me in with her husband and her son, who I think at that time was only 3 years old or 4, and now just recently joined me to Guadalupe, both of them, and he's 19. So
20, actually.
20.
Yes.
Okay, correction.
Yes, 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that shows you how long we've known each other, the path that we've had. We've been close in, like, she's hosted me in home for several months to maybe not speaking for a while, not for any reason, just like this is, I think, the energy with me. Sometimes it's like we are there for each other. Sometimes life takes place and then we just, hey, let's reconnect, let's talk about this, and nothing wrong or bad or anything, just life happening. And I love that because we pick up from wherever we left off. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on now that I did the intro of Celia, and she tells me at times when she is sharing about, hey, I'm doing this, so I'm saying she's doing some Reiki. It started when we did the gratitude, the 28 days of gratitude, and going into the energy and the field. So without further ado, Celia, would you like to do an introduction? How would you like to start off, for us to get to know you?
Oh. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Kristel. Yes. We have known each other for a long time. Yes. My son was little. um, but I think in 2018 is when you and I reconnected in the spiritual part, when we were doing the gratitude. And really, you started me in that path of being grateful for things. We did the book, what was it, Secret?
The magic.
The magic.
28 days of
Yes.
gratitude, Rhonda.
So from then on, I was just starting in, the spiritual part and the emotional part had always, called my attention. I come from a Catholic background, so it was kind of like holding me a little bit because I was like, I'm not supposed to believe in, all these other things. But I opened my mind to it. And then I moved to Mexico in 2020, right when COVID was going on. And I met in Mexico my metaphysics teacher, which is the one that introduced me to the archangels, which it was another part of me that it was refusing to believe in archangels. But then once I started studying with her, it was just, and it has been an amazing journey. And on Tuesday of next week, she's going to start a complete session for like, I think it's 8 weeks, where we're really going to dig into the archangels and their energy and have 8 weeks. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And she's going to do it online with me. She doesn't really like to do online things. She's a be present person, but I'm taking her out of her comfort zone because I'm not in Mexico right now, So she's going to do 8 weeks. And with her, I have done Reiki 1 and 2. And the Reiki 1 and 2 with her, with her, it's about like, it lasts like 3-4 months before you even get, the initiation of it. And then in September, she's going to do Reiki 3, which I'm definitely, going to be going to that class too. And I'm sure it's going to take about 4 or 5 months to finish it. But it's amazing because she teaches everything. So for me, I am so grateful to be in this path because it has helped me to, I'm going through a separation also that I started in November. And it has I always tell people, if it was not for this spiritual, the way work that I've been doing, it would have, brought me down. It did brought me down to my knees, but it helped me
Mm.
to know that there is a way out. And because of it, I have been able to release it, and move on with my life in a peaceful way. And it was so interesting because I was asking God last week. I'm like, I wonder what is to have one of those aha moments. And then on Monday, I had my session with Annette, and where she read my
Chinese
uh,
astrology.
yes. And I swear, I came in and I was not expecting anything. And when she said a couple things, it just dawned on me, and I finished, and I was such a peace with the whole situation. And I was like, oh, that is an aha moment. That is definitely. So I was very excited about it. Yesterday, I have my Feng Shui for my house with her. And I was just like, I swear, I was like, somebody gave me something, because I was like a rabbit going, I want to change this, I'm going to change that. So to say all this is, all my spiritual practices helped me to heal, and where I was able to, actually uh, tell my husband that I have forgiven him, and I
Mm.
have forgiven. It's not so much about forgiving somebody, it is about learning from the experience that we both decided to come and live, and, without having anything, no resentment, no anger, no nothing. And and it felt and it feels amazing. So if I can tell anybody that is going through this situation or any other situation, definitely, if we do the healing, even that if it hurts a lot, we will be able to heal from it, and also see what we need to learn from it. So
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. You shared a lot in there that I'm going to do my best to unpack a bit. But I want to first ask, do you have a practice to get you centered or grounded? And if so, is there one that you can kind of guide us through so we can just be in that space with you right now?
But the one practice that it helped me a lot at the beginning of everything, it is a meditation by Tara Bach, Bach, and it's called Rain, where she asks us to recognize the feeling, accept the feeling, investigate what we feel that way, and then nourish ourselves of what we find that we're missing, that we're not giving each other. That is a practice I had taught my son. Every time he's like having emotions, I always go and I say, "Have you do rain?" And he's like, "No, I haven't." And I'm like, "Well, do rain and see what comes up." So I do have several practices. I do meditate. I do the Course of Miracle in the mornings. It has been amazing, I have to say. The Course of Miracle is it's an amazing book of the practices, because the book is a little bit
Yes.
complicated.
Yes, and
um,
it's definitely the practice. Very much like the Rhonda Byrne with the secret is the concept and everything, but the practice, the daily aspect of being, when people say being in the word, it's like being in the energy of mindset, but also changing the energy around us as we are practicing throughout the day, the principles.
yes. To me, another practice that it has been amazing, it has been the mantras. They have come to me in a very specific time of my life. And so, to me, it's like meditation, mantras, and my Course of Miracle definitely is being the guide to, for this healing process that I went through.
So the first one you said is RAIN, which is recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture.
Nurture. Yes.
Yeah,
And it's
and this
by
should happen by go ahead.
Tara Bach, Bach.
Oh,
Brach.
it's
I'm
like
sorry, Brach.
BRAC. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And I love that because personally, when it comes to meditations, the sound is very important to me. And when you first said it rain, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this because I don't like, I love rain knowing it's cleansing and the sound of water in nature. But when I'm listening to it, like from my own environment, it does something else for me. So at first I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. But as she's guiding through the recognition, I had tears. I had moments, and it was very much a process of acknowledging the pain, acknowledging the emotion, and then going through it to eventually come through it, just on the other side. So I definitely I'll need to embrace it a little bit more. When you told me about it, I went through it, but I have to actually right now is the right time for me to go back to it. So thanks for the reminder again. But yes, there are so many practices. You said mantra. So in studying Buddhism, I was doing Namyo Orenge Kyo, which is very similar to what people have heard of. I mean, that's more chanting. And chanting and mantras, I mean, that's a mantra, it's the repetition of it. What is the mantra that you like the most right now?
Um, well, the one that has been calling me a lot, it is Tarabak,
Okay.
you know. That one, that's the one I'm doing right now. Um, I do the one that I did it for 40 days. It was Sri Vitala Girihari Parabrahmane Namaha, which is like calling to our higher power. That one I did it with a group. But really, like I said, like right now, the one that I'm doing, it is for Tara Bach because she's the mother of. She will be like the Virgin Mary, just on a Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a book of her too that I have some uh it's like prayers, like there's 21 prayers for her, so I do that one. I
Okay.
do
She's
that every
definitely,
single day.
yeah, she sounds like she's definitely one of your go-to right now in this season of your life, the
Yes,
nurturing divine mother type.
yes. I like Mani Padme Hum,
Mm-hmm.
but that one is that's a very powerful mantra,
Yes.
but I whatever it comes to me, and right now, like you say, in this time of my life is Tarabak.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go walking and I have my hapamala and I just go walking and I'm doing the mantra. One thing that I did learn that I found very interesting when I was doing the mantra with this group is that they explain that it says when you chant it aloud, you chanting the mantra for everybody help. When you chant it very slowly, you're doing it a little bit for yourself and a little bit for the world. And when you chant it in silent, you are working in yourself.
I
So
love
that's
that.
another thing. Yeah. So that's another thing that I do. It is like whatever my body tells me, some days I can literally feel like I'm going to chant it aloud. And some days it's like, even if I try to chant it aloud, it's like, nope, this one is for you. You got to do internally. So I let my body, tell me what to do.
I love how you are, Celia, using the power of now. Like I have all those principles, all those resources, but this is what's needed now. And you are able to tune into your body to know what is your body needing now. And listening to that to, hey, I'm going to chant for the world because this is what I'm feeling. But there's like, wait, dial it down because this is actually what I need now. So I totally
Mm-hmm.
love all that. Um, so just because I like to bring up things that I see. So you wear crystals. What is the meaning of crystals for you?
I I had a lot of crystals when I was in Mexico. Right now with this moving here to Charleston, I don't have them that much, so I don't work that much with crystals. That's I will have to say I don't. I
Okay.
I, I
But you
had
just
them
wear
with
them as jewelry.
yes, and when I work them a little bit with like when I was doing Reiki, you know. So, but no, I don't have them right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So couple of other things. So recently we had Annette as a guest speaker also who did the energy. And I love that you took her on. And I know when I did my my home with her in Fort Lauderdale, like you said, it's like the for me the flow is different. Like why did I know this? Like I can feel the difference. So I'm assuming you may have felt some changes or some shifts of like, yeah, this flows easier. So definitely a reminder, people, like get your home centered, get your home in the right energy, not just for the home itself, but for the people who occupy it. Like Celia's energy is different than mine and her son. So all of that comes into play as to where the placement of things are.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you mentioned is, and this was Mavi, was another guest speaker, just to show like the connections of doing energy work, but also the differences that we can each embrace. You say you're Catholic background like I am, and for me, a lot of I remember being in church, it's like, this just doesn't make sense. So why am I feeling this? And while I'm being told it's not feeling right, I'm not doing anything. Like desire of things of the world. Not necessarily just material things, but just a desire of wanting. And I know there's the level of complacency, there's all of those things, but just making it wrong. I heard that even as a child, like it's wrong for me to desire maybe traveling. It is, things like that. They didn't say that, but that's how I heard it. So I just know that even when I get invited now, my mom's like, just go to Catholic church. I don't have a problem going to the Catholic church. Just don't follow the practice because to me it's more limiting. And I am very much somebody who's open-minded. Like I am open. And there's discernment in the openness. There were things I'm like, no, this doesn't resonate with me. I'm assuming, so yeah, you too, when you not necessarily comparing, but as you are picking up on things that you are learning, the meditation or Tarot Brach or others, how you discern what is more in alignment for you.
You know what I have come to conclusion? It is everything is God. It doesn't matter what we call it. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Tara Verde. Everything takes me to God. And as long as I am wishing, making myself a better person for this world, and that I'm wishing the best for everybody around me, that's the thing. That's the only thing I can do. It took me a minute because I did. To me, Ganesha, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It caught my attention from the very beginning. I love the figure. I love what it represents. I do listen to his mantra, but it was a fight that I had, an internal fight that I was like, well, but I'm not supposed to follow, or have Ganesha or have a figure of Tara Verde in my house or the Buddha. And I was like, but then my teacher, my metaphysics teacher, explained it to me. She said, just because we were born on this side is because we don't believe in them. But if we would have been born in India or China, we would have believed them. So who's wrong and who's right? And so that opened up my mind. And at
That's
the end,
awesome.
like I say, for me, is God. I
Mm-hmm.
am praying. I believe in God. I pray to God. Somebody told me a long time ago, praying is asking God. Meditating is listening to what God has to say to you. So I know I have to sit in silence to listen to what God wants me to hear. And now I'm very much in touch, with when I meditate. I can hear God talking to me. He
You
sent
have a
me very
distinction.
specific. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because I have, the mind comes in and it tells me, yeah, is that God or if it's really you just telling yourself what you want to hear? And it's literally like, I hear where God tells me, it is me who I'm talking to you. Do I like everything that I hear? No. And I know He has the best. He's always going to give me even more than I can imagine. So I go to a church now that is, I listen to a pastor. And Sunday, I haven't been to that church in a long time. And then Sunday, I woke up and I just had this feeling. I'm gonna listen on it online because I know there's a message for me in there. And there was a message for me there. So for me, it's more the intuition now that what is it
Mm,
that I need to listen or do today?
beautiful. I love that it's not just following a ritual, it's following your intuition because everything is energy in motion. It's constantly moving. And what you need today may be different what you need tomorrow. It doesn't mean the thing that you needed yesterday or you need tomorrow are good or bad. It's more a question of this is what your body needs right now. This is what the soul needs right now. I love that.
Yeah. I think with every practice is that, I have done a lot of practices over my life. Somebody asked me one time, she said, why do you try everything? And I'm like, because I never know when I'm going to need it. And I was just talking actually to my psychologist yesterday, and I was telling her, I don't, to give you an example, I don't, I did like a session with this lady where she goes into your subconscious and work on it. And she asks you, okay, what do you want to work on your subconscious? And my psychologist was the one who referred me to her. And I was telling her yesterday, I say, I love what she did because she helped me make the decision that I needed to live physically, live, the marriage. I say, and it was like four sessions with her. And I'm like, but I don't feel like I thought about her the other day and I was like, should I call Yvonne? And then I was like, no. So there's some practices that you definitely feel like this is a one-time thing,
Yeah.
or you may come back later. Or there's some people that you may follow for a long time, or or do meditations with them, and then they just came into your life for a period, and then you move on. It is, you have to listen to your inner self to tell you, do you really, want to continue with this practice? There's practices that you're probably going to do for 10 years, and one day you're going to wake up and be like, I don't need to do this one anymore, or I want to do something else. So right now, it's like I do some practices and I don't other practices before that I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I don't need this one right now. I'm going to do this one.
I am definitely similar to what you are expressing. When I was going through I was already divorced and I was traveling to do my honeymoon with myself in South America. And hypnotherapy is what helped me to go to the subconscious mind because the analytical, the talking about it just was not getting me anywhere because it was just a loop. My day to day, but going straight into the subconscious mind, which I've heard people say there may be some truth to it that you might not want to do subconscious mind. You need to do the work a different way. But you know what? This is what I needed. And I'll tell you, Celia, that day, that I felt liberation, there was a tear that came down. I don't remember which eye, but one tear that felt so heavy, but it felt liberating. That night, I went out with a friend and I just had a great time dancing salsa, having a good time, but I felt free. I didn't feel the burden of like, hey, I'm doing this, hoping like it was free. And from that day forward, things were different. Things were different. But that felt that physical tear just being so heavy and liberation. And it was doing hypnosis, doing the subconscious mind. And there are different ways, you can reprogram your mind with subconscious by writing things over and over. But I often feel like for me, when it's so deep, I can't just do it on my own. I mean, I could,
I know.
but sometimes it's just so heavy that you get lost in the forest. You need a guide. And sometimes like, well, why don't you call God? Well, as you said, everything is God. So this guide, who is a hypnotist, guided me through the healing, through that path with hypnotherapy. And I did continue a few times, but then it part. And sometimes I feel like even if like the human side of me says, hey, maybe I should do more than hypnotherapy, that guide may not become available because it's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm like, you know what, Kristel, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's no longer. And I just let it be. Don't need to analyze it. Just let it be.
Yep.
So definitely the subconscious mind is a very powerful engine into how our life moves forward. Now, how do you use Reiki? You mentioned, are you looking to be a practitioner of Reiki? Are you a practitioner? What's the
Well,
story of Reiki?
that's an interesting question because I became Reiki, and when I was in Mexico, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to give it, and I'll try to like put it in Facebook and stuff like that. But I will give it to my husband. I'll give it to my son, family mostly. Since I came back here, Reiki keeps calling me. So well, right now I'm doing Reiki, for to heal the relationship between my husband and I, to release him, and and sending him a lot of love so he can release the guilt, and but I do know that at some point Reiki is gonna become bigger in my, like I'm called to give it to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fighting it. That's the interesting part. But it just keeps showing up in my life. So definitely it has helped me heal. And when I met my metaphysics teacher, she told me, she was like, the first day she did Reiki to me and I came out of her um place, she was like, if you can heal what you can to heal in this world, she's like, you will be an amazing healer. Because my number is at 22, so I'm a teacher, I'm a healer. um so like I say, I've been fighting it not to do it, out of laziness, to be honest, but I've been doing it, I think, for the last 2 weeks. But right now I'm working, with my husband, and a picture of the two of us and healing, you know so we don't have any resentment, anger, and it works. You feel at peace when I do Reiki.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting because you, we are both in the mortgage industry, and we, from the share and the fact that I have a YouTube channel that's mystical, Kristel, metaphysics, and all. We also love the energy aspect of things, right? I don't know if it's the fact that we're in this corporate world with doing loans, that is so heavy in, the busyness, the work of it, that stepping into the energy sometimes, like I totally love it when I'm doing it. But I just feel, maybe I'm making this up, but I just feel like when I'm done doing loans or reviewing clients' information, I don't always want to go. I was like, I just want a brainless type activity of just maybe a Netflix or just a YouTube, because we are so focused on a long-term goal for someone, like something so heavy, not heavy, but a big investment. I don't know if it's made up or this is just me,
No,
or maybe you are the same.
I
Yeah,
have the
it's
same.
not a
I
light
have
thing.
I have my night in the week where I'm like, I am not doing anything. I'm not gonna meditate. I'm not gonna do a mantra. I'm going to do a mundane thing, which is I'm going to watch FBI or Criminal Mind, because believe it or not, I love my shows, where I can use my mind to think, oh, who did it? Stuff like that. Why? Somebody asked it, I think my husband was the one who asked me one time. He said, why do you watch Criminal Minds?
Oh, she may have clicked off the accent, so she will come right back. Criminal Minds. So she's about to give her secret. So the energy just kicked her off. There she is.
Sorry,
That's
sorry,
okay. I
sorry.
said, Celia, the energy took you totally off because you're about to give your secret of to why. But I'm not, when you put your camera back on, you'd be
Uh,
spotlighted. So yeah.
uh, uh, hello, I'm having to. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. So what I was saying about Criminal Mind is like, when he asked me that, I was like, it's because I say, when I am sitting there watching Criminal Mind, FBI, CSI, I don't think about anything.
Because
My
you
mind is
focus on
like,
what's that. Yeah.
so for me, it's like taking a break, which I think we all do need, whatever it is, that reading a book, or so I do that. There's one day of the week where I'm like, I don't even ask me to. I'm not gonna meditate. I'm gonna, do my prayer after I'm gonna go to bed, but I'm going to binge watching TV.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it might be to do with what we're dealing with, the industry, the pressure, the deadlines, I mean, I'm doing this live in the middle of the day just to make sure there's consistency in me showing up. But honestly, I know there's a lot of work waiting for me at the end. It's like after all this, I'm like, okay. And I might
Yes.
start doing the meditation and fall asleep on it because that's just what it takes.
Hmm.
So I think it's the fact that we're in that corporate world at the same time. And we both, and I think it's also the energies where we are being called more divine feminine to come and start our practices, which is, like you said, you're feeling the call, like it's happening. It's like it's there, but you're finding it because, the human side has a capacity of how much can be done in one day. There's the energy of it that's needed. You're also going through a season in your life right now that you get to honor, because this is a long term. This is like a grief when we are letting go of a marriage. It is as impactful as somebody passing. They're still alive, and how are they going to act? And you have a son together, so how are they going to act towards you after? No matter what you decide in harmony, there are the emotions, the ups and the downs. That is so much that you're dealing with, and it might also be the gift, because through that there's a depth of who you are becoming that will come through for your journey as a Reiki master, for your journey as a healer. And like you said, your numerology number is 22. When I was given my numerology number, I was told, even though I'm like, what the heck is he talking about? This was in 2018. Like, this sounds all great, but how am I supposed to go from who I am then to there? And it's like, if you don't ever go through where you are meant to, the purpose, you're kind of burning the truth of who you are. It's like the negative karma of it, because it's like you were not fulfilling on your mission. It's like, okay, so I've been on this path, although I feel like it's been slow, but maybe the angels are saying, no, you're right on time. But as a human, it's like, I'm not there yet, so I need to get there, right? So I totally hear and understand what you're referring to, and yeah, so in due time, I'm sure your practice
Everything
is
is in your time. What I have come to realize is like we can try to force things. And that's when you were talking about you one tear that felt so heavy. For me, it was that Monday when I was, after talking to Annette, that I was like, oh my God, I was telling my psychologist yesterday, I said, I felt like a house was lifted from me, because I was, like I said, I was holding on so tightly to this idea, and I wanted this, and I wanted this, and I wanted this, and you and I talk about it when we were together in Guadalupe. And when finally on Monday, I was like, I have done everything that I can do. I'm letting it go. I'm flowing with it, and I'm letting God, I'm getting out of my way so God can come in. It was just like, I can finally rest, you know? And it's like, we wanted things so bad, and we wanted our way, and we completely forgot that God has a different way, and it's going to be even better, because we think our way is the best. And I actually have a prayer here on my desk that every time I think my way is the best, I always say, God, thank you for knowing the way.
Wait, hold on 1 second. So I want, because Irene, take note of this, because I want to make sure we are keeping this prayer as a separate one as well. So we'll go ahead and gather with you in this prayer. Go for it, Celia.
Okay. I say, God, thank you for knowing the way and giving me just the next step. I surrender my plans to you and trust that you will lead me to your will. Help me to get back on track when I think my plans are better, and accept the plans you have for me. Amen.
Amen. It's beautiful and powerful.
Yeah. So every time I think my plans are better, I have it right here on my computer, and I'm like, yes, I'm like, they're not. They're not,
Yeah, because we have a limited mind, not to minimize us. It's just we can only see so much. But with the oneness, there's greater that can be seen. I want to come back to one topic, because you mentioned archangels, that you've studied archangels, and you are in that realm, and you were resisting it. Even in the Catholics, there is a level of angels that are spoken, and Archangel Michael and things. Is there a particular angel that you're working with, or tell us more about this aspect of archangels, if you would?
When I meditate, I do Reiki. When I do Reiki, I just let it flow. What archangel will show up. And when I do Reiki, that's one thing I forgot to mention. I do get a message for the person. At the beginning, again, I was thinking, nah, that's your mind thinking that you gotta tell this person this. And then I realized, no, that is a specific, because I do get a specific message. And the archangels come. mostly the archangel that it come to me, it is being Sakil, transformation. The other day I was meditating with my son, and all the archangels, I think I got like Sakil and Michael and uh, Hophiel, Uriel. I was like, wow. My son was like, all of them came to visit. I was like, yeah, they did. I was like, I think the only one that didn't come, I thought it was Gabriel. So to me,
But
it's
your son's
just
name is already Gabriel, so there was the
he
presence of
was present.
Gabriel.
Yeah, true. That's true. I didn't think about that one. So I just let it flow, you know. But I did had in Mexico, I did had all the little figurines for them, and I had a candle, and I will put that archangel that it was his day. Like today is what, Thursday? So
Mhm.
today is Raphael. So I will put Raphael in the middle of all of them with his candle, and I will let the candle light on, you know, all day long, and I will do a prayer for him that day, you know.
That's
So
beautiful. Which Archangel Raphael is the healer?
yes, the healer. So when I do Reiki or when I meditate, sometimes they show up. When I was going through my process at the very beginning that I moved here, that I remember I went to a class where it was Reiki, and there was like, this guy was playing all this type of music instruments, healing music instrument. And literally, I saw in my meditation, I saw this beautiful angel opening his arms and telling me, "You're going to be okay." And I did ask him, I said, "And who are you?" And he said, "I am Gabriel, and you're going to be okay." You know, so they show up, not on all the meditations, but I don't, I don't fight them anymore. I just let them come to me
You're
because
definitely in the space of surrendering, right? You're surrendering
yes,
and allowing them to flow. And for those of you who are listening to this, who may not be very familiar with the archangels, so Gabriel is also the messenger of God. Raphael is healer, and I think even it's in the Bible, which I will say again that I have not read the Bible. I have gotten pieces here and there, but never felt the appeal to, hey, I need to read it from top to bottom, things of that nature. Um, but in the Bible, I believe it is called Rapha. It is referred God as Rapha. So it's the God, and El is for God, so God of healing. So there is a connection very often that's just squished a little bit in depending the beliefs or the religion. But I do, Archangel Raphael is definitely the one. I think for me it was because I used to go to a church called Saint Michel, which is the Church of Saint Michel, Ange Saint Michel. And it's the protection. And I have always felt that protection. So I think when we have this belief and knowing that they're present, there is an ease of moving through life. Whenever there is a desire for me, like, hey, I'm really feeling achy, which this morning was that way for me. So thank you for bringing Raphael today, because Archangel Raphael, because Maya's birthday is tomorrow. And
oh,
with her
okay,
passing, it's like it's coming to mind. So, and being in my on my cycle, it's like, oh, multiplied the energy and the feeling of everything. So I would definitely invite Archangel Raphael to come and soothe my heart, soothe Hector's heart, soothe all of those who are remembering her and honoring her life that we've had with her 26 years. So yeah, Archangel is definitely I for me, I call upon them. I love how Celia, you say they come, they naturally they flow, and then you get to recognize and work with them. So that's beautiful. And that you get messages when you do Reiki for people that you are connecting with, and you are a conduit of the messages. It's beautiful.
yes. I will tell
Yeah.
you a funny story because my son got introduced to Michael by Joanne, who passed away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he knows that I don't like flying that much. It's that turbulence. So he one day he goes and say to me, he's like, "Mom," he's like, "when that happens, you just tell Gabriel you go in this part of the plane, And Michael, you go in this part of the plane. So every time, because when I fly with him, he knows immediately when there is a turbulence, he will hold my hand. So now that when I fly by myself, and anytime the captain comes and say, we are going to go through turbulence, and I'm like, okay, Michael, to the right. I'm like, Gabriel, to the left. And I'm like, and God, you would open the sky so we can just pass through it, you know? So
Yes. I would invite people to experiment with that because I do very similar. Mine is basically Archangel Michael, open your wings and stabilize his plane. And the pilot has come on and started to announce. And it's like, wait, nothing happened.
I
Like
know.
literally nothing would happen. Like it's just go through. It's like, well, I guess it disappeared. So I
Mhm.
love that. That's why I was smiling big because I do very similar. And my mom also has a hard time when she flies. And I do too. I just kind of like you with your son, it's like, hey, I'm going to just help people stabilize their energy because the more fear energy we are
Mhm.
experiencing, the worse is actually going to be impactful. So I was like, Archangel Michael, you know what to do. And I just send love and light. Like I expand my light inside the plane for people to feel at peace. So that is the opportunity we have as energy healers or practitioners, Reiki masters, those who understand the power of the energy to take the field, not necessarily ours, we don't deplete ourselves, but have it to expand from God and from the above and below to expand into our environment. What people do with it is up to them. But it's love and
Amen.
light that I do and expand. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that. So we basically can be in any moment of our life to just say, hey, calling for the Holy Spirit, Mother
Mhm.
Mary, Tara Bark. I mean, like all the representations of that divine love.
Yes.
That's it. So
God is
Celia,
in
I
everything.
do God's is in everything. Yes. I do want to go ahead and end this call with last thoughts that you may have and share. Is there something you would like to add? I know you don't quite have a practice to invite people to reach out to you to do Reiki yet, but we'll eventually come to that. Is there a last message?
The one thing that it called me together, that I learned a long time ago also through meditation, is just remember nothing lasts forever. Not even the pain that we're going through, you know, it's going to pass. Just have to give yourself grace and be willing to learn, you know, what the process is and what the message is, because you want to learn that lesson and want to work it and heal it so you don't have to come back, you know, and repeat it once, you know, over and over again in another life. I know I don't.
Amen to that. I don't either. It's like, okay, this has to be the last incarnation. Let me do the best that I can and everything that's needed for this lifetime.
Amen to, yeah.
Thank you
Well,
so much for being a yes in the middle of our day to come and share this experience of energy, mystical, metaphysics. Looking forward to your updates so we can bring you back in.
thank you. Thank you, ladies.